Okay, today I'm going to be discussing briefly the 1977 Oakland incident involving British gangster John Bindon and Led Zeppelin, also involved with a security crew for the promoter Bill Graham, who was a very heavy duty American music promoter. Just going to give a brief bit of information first about John Bindon and his background. John Bindon was born in Fulham, London, 1943. It's a working class background. He spent a lot of time in Borstalls growing up as a young man. Um, a lot of his early jobs included laying asphalt and selling antiques. Later on, he managed to get into the entertainment industry and acting. This was after being in Borstalls for a while for possessing live ammunition and generally being involved in violence. So after being involved in the entertainment industry for a while, he was hired as security for Led Zeppelin in 1977. Let's show you a picture of Bill Graham. So, by all accounts, even Bill Graham was quite a formidable character. A few years ago, I read the autobiography of Pete Townsend, and he described Bill Graham as being a pugilist who won most of his fights. So, if even Bill Graham's security was intimidated by John Bindon, uh, that shows the sort of calibre of person we're dealing with. I mean, no matter how nasty he was, he's still formidable. So anyway, Bill Graham was a heavy-duty American promoter. He was actually a German Jewish immigrant who fled the country in World War II. He himself did military service in the Korean War and was decorated for good service, for being injured, just being generally a good soldier. He anglicised his name, or chose a more Anglo-Saxon sounding name because of anti-Semitism at the time. Moved to America, and after his army service went into the entertainment industry. I think part of the tensions that created the dispute was that first John Bindon pushed one of Bill Graham's security out of the way, and that caused tensions to simmer. And additionally, one of Graham's security crew violently reprimanded the son of John Bonham, who was trying to take one of the Led Zeppelin stage signs, as a memento or souvenir. And apparently, I think the son's name was Warren. He was slapped by the security crew. So John Bindon and the Led Zeppelin entourage, including Peter Grant, Richard Cole, and Warren's father, John Bonham, the drummer, they violently beat the guy up, put him in hospital. After this, the Bill Graham was forced to sign a document saying he's not going to take legal action, sort of strong-armed and intimidated. He was later told that the document wasn't legally binding, much to his relief. But really, the damage had been done. I think with Bill Graham and Led Zeppelin, it sort of poisoned the relationship. I'm trying to be neutral about this because I think obviously Bill Graham was no stranger to strong arming people, and I know I'm not speaking ill of the dead, but he was aware of this sort of industry. And in a way, he'd sort of become out of his depth. Um, to be honest, you know, excuse me, I'm just getting some more information. I know it's Wikipedia, but it's just the Oakland incident itself. I mean, so obviously, if he's used to violence and strong arming people, in a way, he's got a taste of his own medicine. If his security were prepared to use violence, you shouldn't be surprised when people of the calibre of John Bindon become involved and are much better at violence, and for them it's a full-time job. So this occurred in 1977. I do believe Bill Graham later said in an interview, for these people to assume might is right is totally wrong. You think he was describing Led Zeppelin in the way they did the business, but again, they're a brilliant band. They needed security. They needed people who were familiar with the darker side of life, i.e. John Bindon. He was certainly the real deal. He was an incredibly formidable man physically, not scared of a fight. I'm trying to work out where the blame lies, really. I think it was, I'd say I'd split it into thirds. So it was a third, probably hiring somebody, bit of a loose cannon. That was Led Zeppelin's fault. I mean, it was the advice from Richard Cole was probably misguided as the tour manager to hire him. So a third of the responsibility goes to him. I'd say another third is probably the conduct of Bill Graham's security crew. I think one of them called Bindon a limey asshole. I mean, you know, and a third of the responsibility goes to the conduct of Bindon and just being overly aggressive. But again, that's the sort of circles he inhabited. He was born in London shortly before the end of the war. Tough working class neighbourhood. He was tough as well. You know, for them, it doesn't take much for it to escalate. Sometimes fronting's not enough. It needs to become physical. So, in a way, I view it as Bill Graham's sort of became out of his depth. His security had never been stood up to before. The whole incident was unfortunate. It was unfortunate for the reputation of Led Zeppelin as well as, well, it was unfortunate for Bill Graham's security. I don't think it hurt Led Zeppelin, to be honest. They still continued to sell albums, but it's interesting to note how it occurred during the advent of punk, when Led Zeppelin was still incredibly popular, but their relevance had been brought into question. It was no longer the late 60s, it was no longer the early 70s, it was now the late 70s, and punk and new wave were very much on the upturn. So it's sad, really, to see, you know, a good actor, a good natural actor with good charisma like John Bindon. He's brought in to provide security, and then after that, his life seemed to take a bit of a downturn. He's involved in a trial for murder, which he was acquitted of. He then died. Some people say AIDS, but others say it was liver cancer. He passed away at the age of 50, which was very sad. Yeah, so it's just a bit of a rundown on the Led Zeppelin 1977 Oakland incident, where Bill Graham was out of his depth and Led Zeppelin temporarily tarnished their reputation. Thanks for watching.